everyone, welcome to another edition of Real Fans Real Talk. I'm Mark the Statman Skevich. We are here on location in Alabama at Sky Boxing Gym, home of the heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder.
We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Adelaide Bird scores the bout 118 to 109. Jerry Roth sees the bout 119 to 108. And Craig Metcalf scores the bout 120 to 107. All in favor of the winner. And now the first American boxer to win the heavyweight title in nearly a decade. The new WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
Oh, say, can you see Deontay Wilder is the WBC heavyweight champion?
And I'm here with a very special guest, Jay Deas, who's his trainer. Welcome to the program, Jay.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And now, Jay, can you tell the folks out there a little bit of your history, your boxing history?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up just playing all the sports and everything, but I always loved boxing. My brother was a writer, even in high school, for the national publications. So I grew up loving boxing, and it was just a thing. I went into other occupations. I was a television reporter for a while, and then I got out of that to come back and start a gym, and that's how it all started.
All right. And can you tell the folks as far as why you got into the training aspect of things?
Well, nobody was really doing anything that much around here, and so me and my brother got it going. He was the trainer, and I was kind of the main sparring partner and the promoter. He was the trainer and the manager, and then he left because he got a promotion at his job, and I looked around for somebody that could be the trainer, and I never really found exactly the fit. So I decided to get on the road, go to different camps, training camps, and once I got what I felt like was enough information, I put it all together, put a program together, decided I'll take over, and once I made that decision, the first guy through the door was Deontay Wilder.
All right, and how did you end up discovering Deontay? Like, how did that work out? Like, as soon as the gym opened, or how did that work?
We had been open about 10 years and everything, but once I took over the training duties, it's just whoever walked through the door. We grow our own here. We don't have guys come in that are already 25-1 when they get to us. When we get them, they're generally first day they've ever been in a boxing gym, and that was the case with Deontay. He just heard about us and he walked through the door.
And how did Mark Breeland get involved?
Well, once we got to the Olympic trials, I met Mark, and we got along really well. And Mark was there with Danny Jacobs. I was there with Deontay, and we just got along great. And so I saw how tall Mark was for his weight class and how he made such good use of his space and his jab, and Deontay being such a young fighter, I just thought it was a good fit. And so I talked to my co-manager, Shelly Finkel, who, of course, managed Mark. And I said, what do you think about Mark? And he said, I was actually going to say the same thing. And so me and Shelly were on the same page. We had both thought of Mark Breeland. And so we brought him on board, and he's been with us ever since.
Mark Breeland, definitely an accomplished fighter, definitely a good person to have on your team. And let's get into some of the training. Like, is Deontay's training similar for every fight, or does it vary based on his opponent?
Well, you know, the parts that's the same is his commitment to training, his commitment to getting in shape and being mentally and physically ready. The part that changes are the specifics relative to who he's fighting. In other words, if he's fighting Stavern, we're going to bring in a certain type of sparring partner that mimics Stavern's height and weight. We actually like him a little bigger and a little stronger than what we're fighting. And we'll bring in anywhere from 4 to 5 sparring partners, and these guys will go a couple of rounds each, and Deontay, of course, I have to stay in the entire 10 to 12 rounds, and it's a really good, you know, that's the only difference is as far as fight to fight is mostly just who we're fighting and how we prepare for that.
And where do you get these sparring partners from?
Oh, we brought them in from everywhere. We've had some big-name guys, Malik Scott, Jameel McCline, some young up-and-coming guys like Isaac Chamberlain from England. He flew all the way in from England to help us out. It's just one of those things where you just have to feel that the guy's right for the job, and a lot of times you rely on people in the business that know, and they say, maybe I've never heard of a guy, but somebody else has, and they say, I'm telling you, this guy's going to be great for you, and we'll bring them in and give them a shot and see what they can do. And they come with with a good attitude. They come to work and they come to show us what they have, and it's been great.
A few different names have been thrown around the mix for who's next for Deontay. Any idea who's he's going to fight next?
Not sure. You know, obviously the big fights, Klitschko and Tyson Fury being the two biggest fights, won't be the next fight. But we did talk with Al Heyman a couple of days ago, and we're all in agreement that we want Deontay to be an active champion. Stavern fought once a year. That's not going to work for us. Deontay's a new kind of heavyweight. He's ready to go. We would ideally like to fight June, September, even December. Bang, bang, bang. Get the fights in, give the public, you know, what they want. And so who those three are going to be, we don't know. We're just going to focus on the first one, and we hope to have a name sometime in the next 2 weeks.
All right, and you mentioned Al Heyman. He's had some issues with HBO. Klitschko's with HBO. We saw similar issues because of Mayweather. There's issues with HBO, how that Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was delayed. Do you think we're going to have something similar where the Klitschko-Wilder fight might be delayed for some time, or do you think we'll have that?
I don't think it's going to be delayed. I think that the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight opened a lot of doors. It shows that it can be done. I mean, back in the day, Don King and Bob Arum were bitter rivals, and yet they still came together. If the event is big enough and there's enough money to be made, these guys will get the deal done. And it also speaks to an interesting point that Pacquiao and Mayweather both went to their representatives and said, make the fight. And that was a big part of it. So the fighters have a lot of power in this situation. If Deontay Wilder says, this is the one, we need this fight kind of thing, they will do everything they can to make.
All right, and you feel you're going to do the same job with the possibility of a Klitschko fight?
Yeah, I love the fight. Deontay was in camp in Austria with Klitschko for 3 weeks. He was the workhorse of the camp. He was the one who got the most rounds in. Klitschko was very, very kind and a great guy, and they got along fantastic. But, you know, it's business, and if it's the biggest fight out there, then that's the fight everybody's going to want.
If the fight were to happen, do you feel that Deontay's ready right now?
Yeah, you know, he's champion of the world, so it's a thing where now, you know, it's all top guys. Anybody at this level can beat anybody else at this level. It's all about preparing for the fight, the execution of that preparation, and just putting it all together at the right time. All these guys are good. There's no easy fight, you know, once you're at this level.
Do you think the fact that Wilder has Klitschko's older brother, Vitaly Klitschko's old belt, that it'll increase the chances of the fight happening because he'll have the desire to hold all of them?
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Is Klitschko, he wants all the belts, but you know what? It works both ways. Deontay wants all the belts too, and if there's a way to do that, then that's the thing. But as far as what we're concerned about right now is June. You know, we don't look past anybody. We can talk about the future, but when it comes to fighting, like I said, anybody can beat anybody at this level. So you have to be totally prepared, no matter what anybody says about who you're fighting or any of that. You've got to be ready. So we're hopeful for June around the 20th or so. We're going to hopefully find that out this weekend and have a name and have a date and a location, and we're ready to know all that because we're ready to get in camp.
All right, and one last question. As far as the training is concerned, when you have an opponent, do you guys watch a lot of film together? Is that part of the training?
Yeah, for the most part, Deontay's not a huge film watcher. He'll watch enough, but me, Mark, and Russ get together, and we separate me, Mark, and Russ, and we all do a scouting report completely separately. Then we put it together, and then I go through it and try to pick out the 3 or 4 key things that I feel, because you know you can't give a guy 400 pieces of advice. We picked out 3 or 4 things that with Stavern, and we'll do the same. But everybody's scouting report is completely independent of each other, because Mark is a very quiet guy, and if you get Mark in a room with Russ Amber, Russ's loud personality, you know, he may debate at a higher decibel level than Mark would. And Mark is not the kind of guy that's gonna get in this huge confrontation with you. But Mark is very, very valuable in what he knows and what he has to say. So we separate me, Mark, and Russ. We all write up what we see on film, and then they turn it in, and we go over it, and we pick a few things out that we think we can capitalize on.
All right, sounds good. And we talked about Mayweather-Pacquiao being like one of the biggest fights of the century. When I was growing up in the 90s, it was always the heavyweights, Tyson, Holyfield, Buster Douglas, Riddick Bowe, you know, a lot of big names out there. Do you think, you know, a Deontay Wilder-Klitschko fight will kind of spark the heavyweight division again?
I think just Deontay being heavyweight champ has sparked it. You've got, you know, an American guy. He's charismatic. He's always in shape. He's not one of these heavy-set guys that lumbers around the ring. He's everything you want in a heavyweight champion, and he's got the personality to match.
From here to the top, let's go. Bomb Squad!
To match. So I think it's already sparked it.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Deontay Wilder, last American champion since 2007. And sparking the heavyweight division once again, back in the USA where it belongs. I'm here with his trainer, Jay Deas, at Sky Boxing Gym in Alabama. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Real Fans, Real Talk.